into Zoom. Hey, we're getting good at this.
Yay. Morning, everybody. Yeah, and as always, if you're watching live, it'd be lovely to hear from you. Just send us an emoji or any questions that you've got, feel free to pop them in the comments as well. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we would. And we're going to be doing this every week at 9 o'clock, so Friday live. And at the moment, it's coming on my channel, but we're hoping to go live on both channels at once.
Yeah, it'd be good if we could sync them up, wouldn't it? I'm sure there's a way
It
of doing
would.
it, but as always, it's just the techie stuff that takes a bit of time to work out, doesn't it?
Yeah, so if anybody's got any hints, you can put those in the comments as well.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So we thought today we would discuss. Um, there's a one of the members in Art Hub was asking us about copying other artists. Was this a good thing to do? A bad thing? Was it okay?
hmm
She was almost concerned whether she was doing something she really shouldn't do as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've definitely had this question in classes as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think there is a difference between learning and progressing your art. And the other side of things, which we didn't go into too much in detail, but is worth mentioning, is if you're copying somebody's art directly and then selling it on, that's not okay,
Yeah,
is it? That's sort of not okay.
the obvious, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to actually not copy at all, we had a great discussion last night, didn't we, about how useful copying other artists is. So, but if you sat there thinking I shouldn't copy, we don't agree with that, do we? Not from our
No,
conversation last
no,
night.
definitely not. And we spoke quite a bit about how you have to try out lots of different things as an artist as well to work out what it is that you want to do. And quite often that inspiration will come from other artists, whether that's from like going to a local art gallery or somebody that you know within like an art membership or something like that. But it's important to, I suppose, think of it as like taking inspiration from other people rather than copying. Um, I think the only time you need to really ask yourself is your motivations behind it. So, um, if you're copying somebody and completely changing who you are and what your interests are in order to be more popular, that's something I think you need to be wary of. And that's something we spoke about last night as well, wasn't it, Debs? This kind
It
of
was.
to um, fit in. Uh,
Yes, so if you're doing it so to sell your work,
yeah,
because you think that people will like it and buy it, but
yeah,
it's not what you feel authentically, that's what we were talking about. We went quite deep, didn't we, really?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we did because we spoke about as well. Um, because we've both been asked to do commissions for certain things, and we've done commissions in the past as well, haven't we, for people? So, um, commissions are basically when somebody asks you to do a bespoke personal painting for them. So it usually comes in the form of kind of portraits or can be pets or
Hmm.
a landscape that means something to somebody. But we were talking about the importance of making sure that that's something that you actually want to paint.
Yeah, it's like something that resonates with you, really.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because that's going to come across in the artwork if it's not something that you're particularly enjoying or it's not a subject that you want to do. So, for instance, I wouldn't do a portrait because it's not me. I could, and I'm sure I'd do an okay job at it, but I'd say to that person, I'd recommend another portrait artist who specialises in that.
Hmm.
But the general public don't always get that, do they? They think, oh, you can paint, so like you can paint anything.
Yeah, it's quite strange. And I think the other thing that people do when you first start, you tend to not know yourself what you want to do. And so when somebody says to you, can you do a portrait for me? Can you do a pet portrait or whatever? Then initially you just sort of accept absolutely everything. I
Yeah,
know that because Lydia, who's a friend of mine, does actually do pet portraits and enjoys them. She likes putting the emotion of the dogs into them, and if she knows them, she particularly likes it because she knows the dog.
yeah.
Um, so she does that for friends, but she does it for other people as well. But it's she did do a couple of tractors. She did the most fun because we live in a rural area. Yeah. And people are very fond of their tractors as well as their pets. So
Yeah.
she did a couple of tractors. And although she really, really did a very
Mhm.
excellent job, and they were very pleased. I don't think it's something she particularly enjoyed. So I don't know whether she'd do it again. I don't know. But that's the sort of thing where, as you move forward, you start to go, actually, that's not really what I want to do. And what it does is it pulls you away, doesn't it, from what you
Mhm.
do want to do, because it's a little bit like being a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
If you are a pet portrait artist, then that's great because that's specifically what you're interested in. And those are the people that you want to get to do your pet portraits, aren't they? Really.
yeah, yeah.
But if you're an abstract landscape artist that's trying to explore nature and stuff like that, I used to do, people wanted to do things like animals in class because they wanted to learn how to do it.
Mhm.
So I would still give them an animal in class, but I started to incorporate things like landscapes behind the animal. So it's like, that sort of worked actually. That was really good. So I think sometimes doing something, you can do something for a different reason. So
Mm,
like you might do something because it's a challenge,
mhm. Yeah.
but it's still got to be something for you, hasn't it? So it might
Yeah.
not be your style, but you might go, actually, I do quite fancy doing this because it's just something a bit different.
Yeah. And I think it's important to go through that phase, particularly when you're at the early stages of just exploring your art and who you are to get a feel for what you want to do.
Mm.
And we spoke quite a bit yesterday, didn't we, about the kind of, generally speaking, the early stages of when you're creating. I mean, even when I was at school and doing GCSE, it was more about kind of copying things and imitating things. And that is really helpful to find what you're interested in, what you like, the kind of the subjects of the artwork, what resonates with you. But it also helps build your skills as well, because if you're copying something directly, and I'm not talking about things to kind of sell, it's more of like
Mm.
learning, a learning phase. Um, it's much easier, isn't it? Because it's kind of easier to work out um, what's right and wrong in terms of that painting and whether you enjoy the materials. If you're copying something directly versus creating your own art, I think you've got to go through that copying phase first, haven't you?
Think you do, and the other because you have to build up there's two sides to it, isn't it? You want to build up what is your authentic art, but how do you do that? And you
Yeah.
have to know how to use a paintbrush first, because otherwise it's like, and then you have to play with the materials and see whether you actually like oil paint or you like acrylic or you like watercolor. And so if you don't try these things, you can't know that by just looking. You might know that you like the
Yeah.
aesthetic of it.
Yeah. You don't know how to start, do you?
No, but also, so initially, Lynn said something really interesting last night because I remember this. When you first start, you can get really good. So, sorry, when you first start, you try things. Then there's a middle stage where you can copy what somebody else has done, but you can't work out how to do it yourself, even if you're copying a painting. And I remember this. I remember thinking, why can't I produce something like this? I can produce it. because I can literally copy it.
Yeah, yeah. So you can do you've got the technical bit down now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like, how do we get to the next stage? So that's like an intermediary bit, isn't it? Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah. And I remember feeling so sort of I just didn't know what to do to get past that.
Mhm.
And I think I went through because I like materials, I started playing with materials and being looser with it. I think
Yeah.
that's what I did. Um, and then perhaps started to work a little bit from photographs that were mine. I think that was another step. I remember that. And then eventually I was starting to paint things from outside. So I went through different steps to get myself to be able to get my own
Mm,
um, something from life that I could see. That was
mm,
another step. And now I'm going through another step and I'm not through it yet, is the how to actually portray the feeling and the abstract and the atmosphere of what it is that you're trying to portray. So that's yeah. Mine were very definite steps when I think about it.
yeah. Yeah. And I think when when you were talking there as well, Debbie, it just reminded me of the things that I did whilst I was at college as well, in that more formal art education setting. So it would be there was a lot of focus. We used to spend 1 day a week on life drawing. So
Mm.
do that on a Friday. Spent about 5 hours doing it. It was quite intense, but it was a big part of not just learning the technical skills of tone and form and all that kind of stuff, but I suppose also like your unique way of portraying that as well, like the mark making and things like that. So I think that whole drawing from life is important as well, drawing, painting, or whatever it is. Because you need something to hang your hat on, don't you, as well? Even if you want to go, even if you know you want to go into like more abstract things, you need something to, you know, observe.
It's good to have the skills as well because those skills teach you observation and they teach you it's the hand-eye coordination. But
Mm,
even like when you first start, I think your observation is, I don't know, it's like you observe more over, you just observe more over time. So when people first come to a class, for example, they'll start to say things after say 3 or 4 weeks, like, "Oh, I can see more colour. I've
yeah,
noticed that
and
there's colours."
noticing things a
They
lot
start
more.
to notice things. And so
Slow down.
having that practice of doing something from life,
Mm,
you notice things. But there is another thing when you're copying from a photograph, then it's very, very hard not to put everything in.
mhm.
Whereas if you're copying from life, you put in what you connect to more. It's easier to narrow it down. It's overwhelming when you first do it because it's like, oh my goodness, I've got a whole body, or oh my goodness, I've got a whole landscape to do. But you can start to like go once you can start going, oh yeah, I'm going to do this little bit, or I'm going to do that. But if you just have a few little pointers to help you with that, then it becomes easier than
And
doing it
that's
from
about,
photographs.
yeah, and that's about making choices as well, isn't it? So I
Mm,
think when you're in that environment, it's kind of easier to go, oh, this is this particular bit, this stream or this close-up flower, this is what's intriguing me and I want to spend more time on.
yes. And in fact, Lydia and I are going out today.
Yay!
Yay! So I've got my bag packed, ready. But what we do first, before we do anything, is just have a little wander around the area that we're going to sit and just go, which angle are we going to look at? What is it that's interesting us? Are we going to like do something close? Are we going to do it square? Are we going to do it? And so we do all of that, probably spend at least 20 minutes doing that. And then I'll do some thumbnails and or do all sorts of things to just sort of hone in what I'm actually interested in. So Yeah. You don't sketch outside, do you? But
No, I don't. But I do spend a lot of time going out and taking pictures and then bringing those back home. But I suppose my process of kind of observation and collecting inspiration is more that kind of thing. But I do spend time like you would before you sketch, wandering around and
mm.
working out which bits it is that I find interesting. And
But you've done something with your postcard range. So you
yes,
went out into Brighton.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I went out into Brighton and I'm out and about all the time anyway, so I'm always sort of just taking pictures and things. Um, but that collection is based on, I'm close to the sea here, so seascapes, but as well as that, some of the more kind of urban textures that you find in Brighton as well with the graffiti and um, being near the sea as well. I think things tend to kind of break down a bit more in terms of just
Mm,
like lampposts, railings, all of that stuff. I've always found that really interesting in terms of like worn surfaces.
mm,
To me, it just feels like there's a history there almost
mm,
in those sorts of textures and surfaces.
mm,
Um, so, so yeah, that, and I'm still working on that collection at the moment. I'm doing 100 limited edition little postcards.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I have seen you. So yeah, it's good. It's really good. And I thought, because I haven't actually done it, because I wanted to do the 100-day project, and I did make a start, and then it came to a bit of a halt. But I thought that maybe a little postcard, something that isn't too massive to be able to produce a large amount of, would be
Yeah,
a really good idea.
yeah,
Either that or a sketchbook type thing,
yeah,
because I was thinking I would like a daily habit because I tend to produce like collections in like just really quickly. I'm painting,
yeah,
painting,
yeah,
and then I have less painting in between. And I thought it might be nice, not anything that is for a collection or anything, just that
interesting.
sort of, yeah, that's something I'm working on. Uh, it'll happen. I know it will because it's in my head. When it's in your head, eventually it happens.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what? Oh, we've done 25 minutes already.
Gosh, that's gone fast, hasn't
It has
it?
gone really fast, yeah. To wrap it up, I'm just wondering, I'm going to have a quick look at what we'd said. I just want to just cover one more thing because I think the inspiration of other artists is really important for later on when you actually have found your authentic voice and you are starting to work on your own art and collections type thing. That it's very, very useful still to look at what other artists are doing, both historically and current artists,
Mhm.
because sometimes there's something that really attracts you that you want to actually incorporate into your own work.
Yeah, yeah. And we spoke quite a lot yesterday, didn't we, about it might just be one element of that particular artist's artwork that you like or admire that you want to bring through into your own artwork. So it's important to ask yourself, what is it about that artist that I
Mm,
like? Just spend a bit of time reflecting on that
mm,
because it might not necessarily be what they're painting. It could be how they're using the paint, or it could be the composition or the colour, or so spending some time on that and asking yourself what it is rather than just going straight to I want to paint like them is helpful, isn't it, as well?
it is because there's going to be things you don't like as well.
Yeah.
So, from a practical point of view, we keep like journals sometimes that where I think you do the same, where
Yeah.
I might stick in somebody's work, and sometimes I'll stick in their artwork, and then I'll stick in a photograph of mine that has a similarity. And
Mm,
that's because I'm like going, okay, so I'm really interested in the where they've put that tree. But look, I'm doing that in my photographs as well. So sometimes you are attracted to something you may even already be doing, or you can't do. Like how I'm trying to work on I've always painted fairly bright, and I want to have desaturated against brights. And I really admire artists that are doing that really well. So I'm attracted to their work. That doesn't mean to say I'm going to paint their work the same. It's not, it's the thing that's in the work that's attractive.
You can also, I think you hit on a point there as well, Debs. You can also learn a lot as well from looking at other artwork and how they convey a certain feeling or, in you. How did they do that? Because like there's the whole thing around the way that we read images and visual language. So think it's also really helpful in terms of when you want to do something specific to look at how they've done it.
Yeah, yeah. And oh, it's gone. Sorry. There was something else that we brought up yesterday that was felt relevant, but never mind. Just ignore me. This is life. I've lost the plot. And we haven't prepared that much for this one this morning because we'd already talked about it last night. And so we thought that we'd come in and have the chat, didn't we, really?
Yeah, and it was an interesting conversation, wasn't it, yesterday? We covered quite a lot, so it's nice to
Yes,
go
yeah.
over that. And we've talked about slightly different things today as well, so we're never sure, are we? Art chat.
No, we could talk art for a long time, but I think it was interesting today because we've gone through sort of how beginners might feel, how intermediate.
Yeah,
It's just like with that's quite interesting in itself.
it's,
So
I think you go through, when you're going through particular stages, you will kind of copy artists in different ways, won't you?
yeah,
Get
yeah,
different things from it.
yeah. Another thing you can do is mood boards. They're quite nice as well, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did when I did my textile design degree, all of our projects were based around a mood board.
Mm,
Um, and that's really helpful actually if you're at a stage where you're doing collections and there's something specific that you want to kind of focus on. It's probably how I use my sketchbook more nowadays as well. I'll kind of put together a colour palette, I'll pick some artists, think about what it is that I want to reflect in my artwork. So I quite often do like a spider diagram brainstorming thing to start off with,
mm.
which I suppose is might be a bit more structured than other people, but it just helps me focus on what it is that I'm doing.
And I do similar thing. It might not be exactly the same, but when I first start a collection, I definitely do that.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it within a particular journal now because of what you said, because you said about working on a collection in a particular book.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to start playing in that book as well with some of the techniques that I might want to try. So I've already got ideas. So, and I think it's just having something to look at and
Mhm.
as well is
Mm,
quite good, not just like thinking of it all just in your head because
yeah,
you lose it a little bit like I did that thought. So,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I go through phases of like having loads and loads of ideas and having moments where it's like, oh yeah, that would be great. And then it naturally that might stop and you want to be able to capture that and then in order to kind of reflect on it and then refine it, don't you?
And do you ever have where you've got an idea here, but it's not quite coming out, and
Yeah.
then you know that it's what it's to do with, and you know that something's happening, and then it all of a sudden it comes out. That used to happen with poetry, but it does with the art a little as well. I've started to really notice that.
Yeah.
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 Okay. The mind of an artist.
Thing and a curse.
It is. It is. More blessing than curse, I reckon.
It is, but some days you just think, but won't go there.
Okay, and on that note, I think we'll say goodbye for this week.